reviews. You're listening to the Friday Frothy. What a fantastic show.
Back in 2023, 12 months ago, we had the absolute pleasure of interviewing V8 Supercar driver Todd Hazelwood. Moving forward 12 months, 2024, Todd is standing on the podium as a Bathurst champion, driving alongside with Brodie Kostecki and Team Erebus. Guys, sit back and listen to Todd tell his story of how he tackled Mount Panorama and became the champion. Hello, Todd, you there?
Hello, guys. How you doing?
G'day, mate. How are you?
How are you, mate?
I'm fantastic. You guys enjoying your Friday afternoon?
Yeah.
Well, we have. We've knocked off, mate. Probably unlike yourself, you always work all around the clock, but getting ready for next week for Bathurst. But we've knocked off, mate. Yeah, which is good. Mate, fantastic to be talking to yourself. So we were excited about that.
My word, mate. How's things going?
Yeah, really good. Just final preparations before obviously the biggest race of the year for us next weekend. Yeah. So, very, very exciting, interesting times. Just trying to put my best foot forward, get my body and mind in shape. And, as I said, it's the one race that we build up for all season. We talk about it. We prepare endlessly for it. Yep. And I guess now it's just chomping at the bit, ready to go racing. You just want to get on with the job at this point of time. So, bring it on.
Mate, I said to you yesterday when we were having a chat, and I said, look, I look forward to Bathurst. It's my day where I sort of sit down all day and I just love it. And for me, sort of like I can't wait for it to happen. As a driver, you must be chomping at the bit to get there, eh?
Oh, absolutely. As I said, like the amount of time that we spend talking about Bathurst all year for it just in alone, whether it's at a test day or at a race meeting where we come up with an idea that we think, geez, that would work well at Bathurst. We're always referring to it all season in a weird way, I guess. But, Bathurst week, it has snuck up on us. I guess when you're busy, you sort of don't have much time to think about the almighty of Bathurst. But, as we get closer to it, you start seeing flashbacks of other events that have happened. And, the interviews start happening and talking about it. And it really starts to hit home and hit the heart, I guess, of how much it means to me and how much it means to everyone within the motorsport industry alone. It's special for so many reasons. For me personally, the amount of history that it has, what it means for everyone to be at that race, and how hard it is, I guess, to taste success at the mountain. It's special for so many reasons.
Yeah. Do you get? I know we're talking about now, but as I said, you're excited about it. Do you actually get? I mean, what are your nerves like before a?
Oh, look. To be fair, it is always worse watching than what it is behind the hot seat. I can certainly vouch for that. When I've watched people race at the mountain or commentated races, you always feel like it's way worse watching than what it is behind the wheel. But don't get me wrong. When you go to Bathurst and you do your first opening laps, you think, this place is special. Like it really is something else. And it's funny, us drivers, I guess go on about Bathurst a lot, but there is a genuine reason for that. We're not just trying to pump the event up. It is a proper balls to the wall circuit. Like as a driver, you need to be committed there. If you got any chance of being fast at that circuit, you need to be completely at one with your machinery to get that last 10% out of it, because it requires the utmost commitment around that circuit like anything else. But I guess the nerves for the event more than anything else, I guess. When you drive in the car and you're in the zone, that's easy. That not easy, but you can press on with that and be fine. But I guess the build-up and, that is so much, it's essentially a whole week of events leading up to Sunday. So when you finally get to Sunday, race day, you're sitting down on the grid, you've just done the national anthem, you're strapping the helmet on. I guess that's where the heart starts creeping up into the mouth a little bit, and you feel those pre-race nerves starting to kick in. But once you get through that opening lap, because I guess it's easier to lose the race than what it is to win at that part of the race. It's early on, like we saw last year. I think there was 5 cars taken out of the race before lap 4 had even commenced. So it just shows you how hard, how hard this race really is to win. You got to treat it with the utmost respect, and some drivers do that in the opening laps, but others try to use that to their advantage. So some guys get quite aggressive to try and make up, maybe lost ground in qualifying and so forth. Exactly. So you really got to have your wits about you in those opening laps, that's for sure.
We were there for last year's race, as you know, Todd, and we sat at the chase, and it was just lap after lap where they were just running into each other and going off and hitting the wall, and
so
it was so frustrating. So as a strategy, I would think all teams would go into Bathurst saying, "Hey, let's just take it easy for the first 150 laps, and then we'll race for the other 11."
That's a big ask.
Well, I know, but seriously, is that sort of something that you guys talk about strategically?
They're worried about putting their foot down, mate.
Yeah, or you just want to go.
Funny, we always talk about making sure you buy yourself a ticket to the last hour of the race, or last 2 hours even. You want to make sure the car's straight, mechanicals are good. Got your main driver in, and if you're in a good position, you can run home hard and fast and try and get a good result. But easier said than done, right? Like we saw last year, we had a bunch of co-drivers starting the race. We had wet weather, horrendous conditions in Bathurst last year. Like the amount of rain, well, you guys saw it, the amount of rain that we had last year was just absolutely unreal. So all the edges of the track were just absolutely bogged and full of water, and just created a whole lot of chaos. So we always talk about especially from a main driver point of view and talking to your co-driver. It's like basically if there's any risk involved, just don't get involved. Essentially, you're better off letting someone go than fight to the death over a position that really may or may not change your race outcome in the last 2 hours of the race. So that's something that we always talk about, but. Hey, easier said than done.
Have you got the long forecast, mate? Do you know what it's going to be like? Have you pressed ahead and had a look?
Yeah, I actually had a look about midday today, and it's not looking too bad for Bathurst anyway. It is going to actually early next week's quite warm, but it does cool off. There is potential of rain Wednesday, maybe Thursday. So if there's a little bit of rain around, that could certainly change things up. I wouldn't be trusting the radar too much until I'm at the track, looking at the mountain and knowing if it's going to be wet or dry. That's for sure. There's always a good chance of rain at that place. The way it's always popped up over the years, it always comes by surprise. It comes over the mountains, and the moisture comes out, and all hell breaks loose.
With that. Now, mate, we've obviously, as you know, we've had a few people write in and give us some questions. So just during as we go, we've got a couple of questions coming in here with YouTube. And we've got a couple of questions that we've had people write in. Glennie, what's your first one there? Oh, actually,
if you could pick a co-driver, it's not pilot, well, you are a pilot, who would it be and why?
Well, I guess Craig Lands, he was the pin-up boy for me as a kid growing up. Boy for Cora, or maybe Marcus Ambrose as well. If I had the luxury to drive, I guess, against be in the right time and race with Marcus, that would be really cool, because he was someone that I idolised as a kid. Real hard worker at his craft, and obviously seriously fast behind the wheel as well. So he'd be really good.
Yeah, cool. Mate, just one here from Juanita in Western Australia on YouTube. She wants to know, Todd, where are you hoping to place this year at Bathurst? Have you got a goal where you'd like to be?
Look, I guess based on the form of our team of recent events, we're edging closer to showing that we've got top 5 speed, which is certainly promising going to Bathurst. But I think for us, the day is so long. So any day that you get inside that top 10 is a job well done. But you're always shooting for glory at Bathurst. Don't get me wrong. If you've got the opportunity where you're potentially close to the top 5, or you're in the top 5 and you've got a sniff at the podium, or you're in amongst that fast group and you've got an opportunity to shine, you're going to be making some passes. So I guess for me, there's no risk, I guess, as far as championship placing. So from my point of view, you go into the Bathurst weekend, full ambition to try and do the best result that you can, and high risk versus reward, I guess. In those dying, I guess, as we mentioned, those last 2 hours of the race, if you're in a position where you can make a few moves and potentially move yourself up in the field, then hey, I'll certainly be trying to take that risk to try and get the best result for our team in 2023.
Fantastic, mate. I've got a question here from Dave Anderson, and I talk about it if you want. Don't talk about it if you don't want. Is your drive secure at BRT with drivers heading currently everywhere? And I know I spoke about this last time you came on the phone. They call it the silly season in V8 Supercars, and it must be a bloody horrible time for you guys, because you just don't know, because there's drivers going left and they're going from one team to another and all that sort of stuff. So, that's just a question that Dave Anderson's thrown in. Is your drive secure at BRT? What are you thinking?
Yeah, like it's a tricky time of the season for all of us drivers, particularly if you don't have a deal secure and locked in. It's imagine going to work and you don't know if you're going to have the same job there in a few months' time. That's the sort of feeling that you have and pressure that you have to deal with as a driver in our industry. But that's why this industry is so relentless, and there's only 25 spots available. So I guess from a driver's point of view, they always say the pressure's on and you're instantly replaced if you don't perform, and you're only as good as your last race in our industry. So, I've been pretty fortunate. I've had 6 years in the sport at a full-time level, had some success along the way, but, sometimes, elements are out of your control that you simply can't, I guess, manage from your own point of view. And that's probably the scenario I'm in now. So I'm just playing the wait and see game at the moment. So it's a frustrating time, but obviously you just got to bite your time from when it's right. And fortunately, I got a really good relationship with the team at Blanchard Racing and the family there of Tim and John, who are calling the shots and making everything happen. So I just got to, working closely with those guys and trying to obviously get the desired outcome to save the team if I can. And hopefully I'll be on the grip with them in 2024.
I'd just like to add in there that, we've spoken to you before when you were with the other teams, and the work that you do just blew me away with,
Absolutely.
you're not just a race car driver.
No.
All the things that you do, you're on the tools, you're helping with sponsorship and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. That blew me away, and I'm sure that'll blow these guys away. And it's also your way. I mean, you talk to the general public, you're on Facebook, and you respond to people's, you're just... I don't know how to describe it. I just, you're just a really good guy. You're level-headed. You're out there. So I think that'll go a long way, and I'm pretty sure that...
Well, we're confident, mate. If it means anything, we've watched you drive and for quite a long time now, and we're massive fans. But I think anyone that's gone and watched V8 Supercars and that, they have Todd Hazelwood right at the front.
Yeah. I've got a question from Raywin.
Yeah.
Here we go.
If you weren't a supercar driver, what would your profession be? Any other passions?
There you go.
Mum always said I should have stayed to my cricket because it's a hell of a lot cheaper and probably a little bit less stressful than motorsport, I guess. So maybe I should have changed my career back then. But no, I guess for me, I've always loved cars, and I guess I'm in a unique position as I get to call myself a professional racing car driver, but I am a massive car enthusiast as well. Yeah. Love my old cars, love anything that goes fast, to be honest, and sounds cool and whatever. So it'd be something within the automotive industry. The restoration world is something that I'm fascinated and absolutely love.
Okay.
So I guess something maybe in that space would be really cool. I don't have a ticket to my name. I'm a failed light mechanic by trade. So I guess I'd probably have to go and get a trade and a real job if I wasn't driving supercars. But hey, who knows? There's plenty of opportunities, and I've been really fortunate, I guess, being in the high level of motorsport here in Australia, where I've been able to connect with so many incredible people, and there's always opportunities out there. It's just a matter of putting yourself in the right place at the right time, and who knows what might happen.
Yeah. The actual motor. There was a question there coming from you. The actual motors in the vehicles, the 350 ones
and 350.
And 350.
Are they the same motors?
Are they the same? Generally, is that what you're saying? Are they?
Yeah, there's definitely, I guess, like previous years. So the last, as I said, the last 25 years of supercars, it's always been a 5 litre, roughly 302 capacity, push rod. V8, roughly making 620 to 650 horsepower, depending on the era and the engine builder at the time. But now this season, what they've done is completely gone away from everything we've learned in the last 20 years of those engines and tried to, I guess, go to more of an OEM spec engine. So we started out with running for what is, I guess, name tag as a 4 Coyote product. It's not technically a Coyote. It actually starts life as a 5.2 bore. Get straight out to a 5.4. So a little bit big capacity in last year's engines, a bit more torque, but a bit less horsepower. And what you can visually see with the Ford engine is that they actually use a lot of OEM products that come with the everyday road car to try and ultimately make the engines cheaper and help the sport moving forward. But the problem we've got with the Ford engine is a 5.4 quad overhead cam V8. So a lot of modern technology, and then the Chev Camaros are running what they call it as a 5.7, I guess, LS3 still a pushrod V8. So very different dynamic, single overhead cam versus quad overhead cam. So a lot of differences in the way the engine is constructed, the weight differences. So the Fords have a lot of weight up high in the cylinder head, whereas the Chevs don't. So there's been a lot of work to be able to achieve parity across those two engines, which, to be fair, I think they've done a fantastic job, because I put my hand up and say it's not achievable, to be fair. But to considering how close the engines are now, it's a credit to Supercars and both Hera Performance and KRE, who are the two engine suppliers for Supercars, have done a spectacular job. But I guess if I had it my way, and if I was steering the ship, I would have certainly made essentially whether it's a 5.2 or 6 litre V8. You put Supercar rocker covers on it, you go racing, everyone's got the same, and that way we don't talk about parity, we don't have that disparity, because if you've got no disparity, you've got nothing to talk about. You haven't got manufacturers getting upset, and you haven't got teams putting blame at either the engines or Supercars not doing a good enough job with homologating the product. It's ownership back on the team, and ownership back on the drivers to do a better job internally. So like what we've seen in previous years, I guess. So it's an interesting space, that's for sure. And
well, that answers it, doesn't it?
They've done a really good job this year to get it right.
Well, that really clears things up, I think. That and well done with that.
Mate, next question, I've got. There's 3 questions here. I'm going to put them all into one for you. The first thing is Gen 3. How has it changed? What are the main differences? And then Brent Forsyth has written, "Hi Todd. What do you enjoy driving more and why? The older style V8 Supercar or the new Gen 3? And then the next question was, what feels quicker, the Gen 3 or the old V8 Supercar? Sorry, mate, to throw so much on you there, but yeah.
No, that's good. I guess like the changes, with the car, they're completely different chassis. The way the suspension and the configuration of the suspension is very similar to what we've had in the past, but as I mentioned, it's all controlled now. So every team up in pit lane's got the same front upright, the same top and bottom wishbones, all to play with. And where they mount that, we've got, I guess, varying levels of changes that we can do to still make a difference in setup. But yeah, I guess, and then essentially the chassis is built into 3. So we've got a front clip, your main chassis, which is your main hoop where the driver would sit, and then a rear clip as well. Whereas previously the chassis would be one complete product. You'd have front extension rails, and that would be its power. So they put their power down a lot harder. Obviously, because we don't have the downforce to be able to keep the rear tyre on the ground, and just pure more torque as well, being the output of the engines. So it's certainly from a driving point of view, it makes it a lot livelier behind the wheel. You really feel like you're manhandling the thing. They're pretty loose on the brakes. They put their power down harder. But on a new tyre, they still feel pretty edgy and pretty switched on like the old cars, but just don't have the overall grip. And I guess the window between getting it right and getting it wrong has narrowed right down, because in the past, if you had a little mistake, the aero would catch the car and keep you on the ground. Whereas now we haven't got that aero to protect all those little mistakes that we might make behind the wheel. So every little mishap that we do behind the wheel gets amplified with these new cars, which is ultimately creates better racing and more of a spectacle for the guys watching at home on TV.
Can I just ask you? Sorry to interrupt. But because of the setup of the cars, and is that because the tyres are wearing so quickly? You're burning them up because the cars aren't stable? Is that the reason why we're chewing through the tyres so quickly?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So ultimately we're trying to get the setup better to be able to look after its tyres a lot nicer. So as I said, there's a few little discrepancies between probably the Ford Mustang and the Camaro, I guess, is where they're making their downforce. I would, without having, unfortunately I don't get access to all the numbers for both makes, but from a visual point of view, it certainly looks like the Mustang has more front downforce and the Camaro has more rear downforce, and hence why they've been able to look after their rear tyres better over a longer stint. So that's a challenge for us Ford teams to be able to try and, I guess, manipulate our car setup to try and help our rear tyre life. But when we go to tracks like Townsville, Sandown, we go to Gold Coast after Bathurst, circuits like that are super abrasive on the tyre, I guess that's a real area of concern, for a team like us at Cool Drive Racing.
There you go.
Very nice one. Thank you.
Stephen Marr.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. He says, "Hi Todd, great to meet you at the NTI Townsville 500. My question is that the Mustangs are fast in a straight line or for one lap, but why aren't they fast around the corners?" I suppose that's the first part of it.
Yeah.
So that was the one part of the question. The other is the Camaros seem to have better brakes, better suspension, making tyres last longer, which is what this is what we're talking about,
yep.
And more torque out of the corners and passing Mustangs like they're standing still, all when Supercar Australia spruiks parity. Good luck with the rest of the season, Stevie Marr.
It's pretty much what we've just spoken about.
Just what we've spoken about, but that was...
Yeah, like I don't think there's too much of a difference in straight line for us. I think why the Fords qualify strong is because they've got the extra front grip, and when we put new tyres on the car, you traditionally always pick up a lot of rear grip and you struggle to get front grip in the car. Whereas the Ford Mustangs at the moment, I feel like we've got really strong front grip, but we don't have a lot of rear. So we can switch the tyre on well for qualifying and we can qualify well. Yeah. But yeah, when it comes to the race, we simply just don't have that rear aerodynamic advantage on the back of the car to be able to save the rear tyre. And it's not much, but each lap that goes by is just wearing that little bit more. And what ends up being, say, 0.5 of a difference over when I talk about 0.5% difference in a lap, by the end of the race, if you've done 20 laps, that's right. 10% different. That's 10%. So it does add up over a stint. So that's, I guess, where the difference comes into fact.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we've got to put another one here. It's good that we've got so many people asking so many questions here, mate. Peter Simonson, how many cameras are in the car, and is it ever a distraction?
Yeah, well, it's funny. It's funny you say that, because Bathurst is probably one of few tracks where, if you actually are, I guess, being shown on TV, there's a few cameras around the circuit, or a few TV circuit. Sorry, I'll start again. There's a few TVs around the circuit, or big screens as we call them, around the circuit that you can actually sort of see in your peripheral vision when you're racing around at Bathurst. So sometimes it can be a little bit distracting when you go, "Oh, geez, I'm on TV here, guys. Better make sure I not do anything silly." And necessarily when you do something silly because you're thinking about it. So it's funny how that can happen. But yeah, in my car in particular, there's how many is there? There's actually 4 on my car. So I got a camera that's basically pointing right down in front of my face, basically looking straight down the square at the center of my eyeballs. Yep. Off the main roll cage, and then there's another one to my driver's left. That's, I guess, looking from a side shot of the driver. Then there's another one in the boot of the car, and then there's another one which actually is mounted on the bottom bottom arm of the rear suspension, which actually points back at the shock absorber in the rear tyre to actually look at the tyre deflection. So that's actually what they call the Dunlop tyre cam. So you've got four different cameras capturing 4 very different shots of the car, and the TV side and what goes on within Supercars, it's actually, it's fascinating, actually. It's really cool.
It is.
Yeah. Mate, next question, Leanne Davies. There's a bit of both here. Pit stops, how hectic are they with so many cars pitting and exiting at the same time? How much can you see out of the car? Because I know you've got a different seating position now in the Gen 3, so how much can you see out? But lately, this is Leanne's question. Lately, qualifying has been really weird with all the cars sitting in the pits until just over a minute to go left in qualifying. Then everyone races out at the same time for one final lap. I don't understand the reasoning for this. I get it that you want to tow from the car in front, but sometimes there's just no room to race being all bunched up. How do you see that?
Well, it's an interesting one, and I guess I probably got a good counter story for that, because at Sandown, we actually did the opposite to everyone else. I went out when the track was cool and didn't get a tow, but I was able to warm up the tyres correctly, what we call phasing the tyre, bring them up to speed, making sure that when you hit the brake pedal at turn 1, you've done everything you can perfectly to get that tyre ready. And especially for us at Full Drive Racing, we're the last team in pit lane. So we're the last to enter the circuit. The field condenses and backs up quite a lot. So the guys at the front, they can sort of do their own thing and press on. But the guys right at the back, it's like a bottleneck effect. It gets slower and slower and slower the further back you go in the field. So for us at Cool Drive, we really struggle to, I guess, get the tyres up to speed and get everything right. So hence why we actually, essentially salvaged one run from qualifying at Sandown. So I actually didn't do a flying lap. I went out, warmed the tyres up, and come straight back into pit lane. So essentially got everything hot. So got the brakes hot, got the gearbox warm. You know, all the oils and fluids are all nice and loose, and then bolted a set of tyres on, went out when no one else did. But there's a big risk when you do that, because essentially you got about a minute to a minute and a half window before everyone starts rolling out and going out for their warm-up lap. So you don't want to start your first flying lap as everyone's starting to warm up their tyres. So that's the risk that you can run if you don't go out and sync with everyone else, because if you try and break the trend and someone pulls out of pit lane, or multiple cars pull out in pit lane, then you start hitting traffic, and you can essentially it can wreck your lap. So yeah, it's we got 15 minute sessions. Sometimes you might only have enough time to do 2 runs, which might only be good enough for maybe one flying lap. So it's a very strategic way of how you have to do it. I think Bathurst in particular, bigger circuit, we probably won't see that same level of intensity pushing back, that right before the death of it. But there's pros and cons for each one, I guess. Yeah, that's for sure.
Exactly. With one question, Mark Lizzo, with Shane winning at NASCAR, do you have any aspirations of trying something different in the future? So, what would be a dream ride, a race ride? Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, who knows? It's amazing what Shane has done for our sport. I guess is putting the spotlight on the Supercars Championship, not only in America but around the world. A lot of people around the world always hold Supercars Championship in high regard on the fact that us drivers we don't use ABS, we don't use traction control. We've got big high horsepower cars with skinny tyres and still managing to punch out very competitive fast lap times, compared to a very expensive, thoroughly built race car like a GT3 car, for example. So I guess that's why they hold us in such high regard from that aspect, which is really cool. But to actually go out, what Shane did in America, that was just unbelievable. It was something else. So something really special for worldwide of motorsport to witness, to be fair. But yeah, hey, who knows what the future may hold? I'll certainly have my hand up to drive anything. Any day I've got my backside in the seat of a race car is a good day by my end. So who knows what might happen? But I love Australia. I still want to finish what I want to achieve here in Australia, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Sorry, mate, to interrupt, but I was just going to say Matt Kahn, he's up here in Tasmania, or down here in Tasmania. He's with part of Variety, and he's got a green lawn covered car. It's an old Fairlane. It's covered in turf. And he's just asked, how would you go racing that, mate? But there's always a seat in that car if you want to go for a drive in the Variety turf car to come and do Tasbash, I reckon. But
depending on how old the Fairlane is, the older the better, I reckon. So
yeah, it goes all right, actually. Hey, just speaking of dream rides, Corey's on here. He's also made a question about he saw your video of the Zephyr, and we've seen your is it XC Falcon, the yellow one?
Yeah, yep.
He wants to know, well, first of all, I wanted to ask you about the XC and how it's coming along. He's asked a question, how was the trip from picking up the Zephyr? And one of the question was, do you have any other projects? But obviously the Zephyr's the new project. And Al, you've got pictures of the
Zephyr, right?
Yeah, so how did that all go, mate?
No, thank you. No, it's well, to be fair, the Zephyr was actually the first project many years ago. So actually, that's been in the family since day one. So my grandfather brought the Zephyr brand new in 1955, and my dad learnt to drive it on the farm in Perilla in South Australia.
Oh, wow.
And they were actually doing a clearance sale at the farm when they were selling everything up, and they were actually going to sell it to the producer at McLeod's Daughters, and I thought, well, hell to the no with that. I'm not going to let that happen. So, so I actually managed to beg my dad, my uncle, and my grandmother, and I managed to keep the Zephyr and keep it in the family, and started pulling it all apart when I was 12 years old, and got pretty serious. Got it almost stripped right down when I was 14. Started rebuilding the engine. Racing got serious and didn't work on it for many years. So it wasn't until actually rewind the clock forward many years later. It was actually only until 2019 I actually got it out of the side of my parents' house, much to their they were very happy to see that go. Not going to lie.
Yep.
Finally got that out and actually got a fair bit of work done on it during COVID, which was really cool. But the last couple of years, it's just been a bit of a, I guess, off the back of COVID. I got to do a heap of work when I was quiet and not racing. But when racing re-kicked off again, I wasn't home for nearly 13 months. So living on the road, so to speak. So it's been stuck there in Melbourne the last couple of years, and finally got to take the Zephyr for a road trip on dolly wheels and up to Queensland, and getting ready to do some bodywork on it next, which is a scary but big job, and hopefully have some paint on it before the end of the year, which would be really exciting.
And what's the plan there, mate? To restore it back to normal, to factory, or are you going to hot it up? What's the deal?
No, the Zephyr is going to be all original.
It's all original. I'm going to say
it's really
have to be original,
achieve,
wouldn't it?
A Mark 1 Zephyr, there's not many around, and they're not very popular. So trying to get parts is very tricky, and trying to put it back together you've got to be very creative. So it's probably taken a little bit longer in that aspect, and hence why I had the impromptu purchase of getting the XC wagon, because I love my old cars, as I mentioned, and I always wanted to drive something cool and old on the road. And the wagon come up for sale back in end of 2021, and purchased it. Hadn't been running for 20 years, but could see the potential of it, and didn't take much to get it running. And now it's just a good daily cruiser, and pretty reliable.
I wanted to ask you a question. You posted a video up on Facebook, and you were in Queensland in a rally car. And Al, you've got some footage there, I think. You were sitting in the passenger seat, and you're doing like 1,000 miles an hour through the trees, and you just look so relaxed. I mean, what the hell? Seriously,
I wasn't relaxed. I will say that much. I might look relaxed, but I was shitting myself. No, I was honestly that was.
You got a good poker face, mate.
I tell you, because he was talking, Luke O'Neill here took me for the hot lap, and he started chatting away, and he's all pretty relaxed. Something. I think I might sit here and let him concentrate on what he has to do.
We're watching it now. We can't see it.
It was a really cool experience. I dip my hat to those guys, because that is proper commitment. Those cars are seriously fast, but the amount of grip they've got on gravel is seriously cool. They are tremendously fast. They may not look fast, but how much grip they've got in a slide, and how aggressive they are behind the wheel to manipulate the way the car turns and stuff. It's honestly, it's fascinating. It's really cool.
Yeah. No, great. Have you done any rally racing yourself?
No, never. I love my off-roading. Grew up, I guess, started my career in go-karts on dirt, so got a huge appreciation for dirt, and love, I guess, the aggression and the style of dirt racing. It's it's the space I watch really closely.
That'd be why you like driving in the wet as well, hey?
Exactly. Yeah.
Mate, just a couple more quick ones for you. First of all, just a bit of a plug for yourself. I mean, I've been a member now of the Todd Hazelwood member, and the membership and costs and stuff. And how important is that to you guys as racers to have people behind? Is it more of just we've got a following, or the actual dollar value helps you out, or and how do people get involved in that sort of thing? Obviously, I've gone through the right channels and found out where all your merchandise and everything is. But if someone wants to jump on board, how do they do that?
No, thank you, mate. And as you said, you've been a long-term member now for many years. So no, thank you. The amount of support I have within the racing eternity is honestly, it's can't thank everyone enough. It's been a long journey, particularly in my supercar space. We've been running a membership program now since 2014. When we first kicked off with a few names on the car, and to actually see how it's grown over that time is it's really special. Actually, I've really blown away each and every year that we launch our new membership program, and we always get more and more people signing up, which is really exciting and really special to have. But as you said, it's a huge pivotal part, and obviously keeping my four wheels on the circuit and being able to do what I love, which is a really fortunate position where I'm only one of 25 guys in the industry, top tier Australian motorsport, to get to call themselves a supercar racing car driver at a full-time level. So it's as I mentioned, it's a cutthroat industry, and there's a lot that goes into it, and you need every ounce of support to keep that dream alive sometimes. So whether it's a membership program or merchandise or sponsorship, it all adds up and goes a long way to achieving the goals that we're all trying to achieve in supercars. So yeah, I guess if there's anyone listening and they want to suss out what being a member is all about with my team, I guess being part of the Todd Hazelwood team, you can head to my website at toddhazelwood.com and follow the prompts and details from there. And yeah, any support would be appreciated, or whether it's simply buying a keyring or a hat or a membership, it all makes a big difference.
Yeah, and with the merchandise pack, you also get things like the stubby cooler cups and key rings, and you get a fair bit of stuff that comes along with it. So yeah, no, mate, it's good, and it's great for the everyday person to somehow try and get behind someone, especially someone as good as yourself.
Giving us time and not that, but that's what it's all about too. It's not just the pressure on Todd and any professional. Yeah. For that matter, it doesn't matter what sport.
I just wanted to throw in, like, Todd put a post up today on Facebook saying they've reached 30,000 followers on their Facebook page.
That's right.
And everyone who's posted back there, Todd, has all said the same thing, mate. It's because you're down to earth. You talk to the people. You're the V8 super person's person.
He's a country lad, and
so kudos to you.
Well done, mate. You're only being yourself. The thing you do in life, mate, is be yourself, and you've done that.
Yeah, done a great job.
I can tell that just even talking to you. We've got one of the last questions
go to Trish,
here.
mate.
Trish, oh God, I've got to have a go at this one.
It's not an easy one. Sorry, Trish.
I think it is. I've probably got that.
Pedred,
yeah, well, I've probably got that wrong. I'm sorry. You've probably got a Italian background or something there. How worried were you when the Mustangs were catching on fire? Okay, they have they fixed that now, Todd?
Yeah, it's I guess we always know the risk of fire, but then when you see cars getting fully engulfed in flames with only a matter of seconds, it's pretty frightening as a driver, I'm not going to lie. I actually made sure that, for the first time, I think ever in my racing career, you actually checked the firebomb, and again, the red light's flashing, it's actually switched on, the fire suppression system that we have. Making sure that you know where the fire exits are on a circuit. Again, you never really pay too much attention to that sort of stuff, so to actually, realise that, geez, this could be a serious issue.
They went up
these cars. So there's a few features with the Mustangs at the start of the year. The way they were having a lot of blow by of the engines. Essentially unburnt fuel. Going to a catch can. Catch can was then, I guess, overfilling or pressurising, and hence why we're getting massive fires. The black smoke. The catch can is mounted right next to the oil tank. So first you have a fuel fire, then you've got an oil fire, and half the car's fully engulfed. So it's pretty scary stuff. And we saw all three fires, within a matter of 15 to 20 seconds, that the car starts from what seems as a small fire to then all of a sudden half the side's fully engulfed, and drivers are jumping out the car, in desperation. So it's never a good feeling. But I'd like to think that. The cars are a lot safer now with what we've been able to change in the last 6 months. But as we step back to earlier's conversation, these are the sort of hurdles that we've had to jump with these new cars, because there's been a lot of new features that we've never really seen before in previous generations. So that's why these new cars have tried us out more ways than one, whether it's parity, whether it's flames, whether it's downforce. It's given us some challenges. That's
big learning curve. The other back end of that question too, that she's got one last question. I think I probably might know the answer to this, but what is your favourite track to race on? This is from the same lady, Trish.
Well, I'm software, so we don't usually
Siri.
No, she's coming straight in.
That must be
Siri's coming with a serious answer.
See, even now, Todd, cars have malfunctions. We've had a malfunction in the frothy bar here at the moment. So,
I was interested to see what Siri was going to say about it.
Well, I was going to say, Trish, if you're there, Trish, I'm sure that wasn't you coming over the.
It's Adelaide, isn't it?
Well, I was going to say, obviously, Bathurst is always special, but the Adelaide 500 circuit, for me, it's very close second. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. No, that's fantastic.
Hey, mate, that's pretty much all we've got for you tonight, and I can't thank you enough again for coming on. You're an absolute trooper. But I do have a couple of questions just for myself. A, when do you get to Bathurst? B, where do you stay? Are you at the track?
Yeah,
Do you stay in the truck?
question.
Do you have a house on the track like other drivers do? And also, just want to do a quick shout out to your mum, because she's an absolute gun, mate. All the things that she does and the Facebook and all the stuff. So, and I every time we go to an event, I always pick her out and we always have a conversation, say hello and stuff. So just, big shout out to your mum. But yeah, where do you stay and when do you get there?
So I'm actually heading off early hours Monday morning. So we're making a road trip. So my girlfriend and I, we're going to drive down together. We should get into Bathurst by probably say 4 or 5 o'clock if everything goes to plan on Monday night, and then try and we haven't got too many commitments on Tuesday actually. So I guess from where we're staying. Previously, I've actually been fortunate enough to take some of our sponsors' caravans down, and I've actually stayed right at the back of the pits next to the team transporter. This year I'm not. I'm actually staying with the team in town, so we actually hire out a house. So a real popular thing with Bathurst is actually there's not really that much accommodation available in the town itself. There's not many hotels and so forth. So, and as you can appreciate, everything gets booked out in a click of the fingers. So what is really common for a lot of the teams is to actually do an Airbnb, similar type of Airbnb, I guess. But I guess half of Bathurst, they go on their holiday away. So they actually put their house on the market for the weekend and they go away on a nice holiday, and they let us Supercar teams stay in their house, which is really unique,
fantastic.
But really cool. And
Well done.
some houses have up to 10, 15 people in some of these houses. That I've been fortunate to stay in some pretty impressive houses over the years at Bathurst. It's it's really cool. But I guess the weirdest thing is that you go into some of these houses and they get everything ready for you, but they still got all the family photos on the walls and all that sort of stuff. Sometimes it's a little bit weird, but it's one of the unique things. Accommodation at Bathurst.
Does your girlfriend, mate, does she get nervous with you being in the car and that, or does she? Obviously, does she ride into the car racing with you? But does she get very nervous when you race?
Yeah, I think she's always nervous watching me, but and she fortunately she knows what it's like being behind the wheel as well. So yeah, my girlfriend Alice, she actually races go-karts as well.
Oh,
so she's got you could arguably say that she's got the racing bug as well. And
I apologise. I realised from the last. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No, that's all right. So we're very fortunate where we both share very similar tastes in
you got
I
need
guess in
for
hobbies,
speed.
if you like. So,
Could be a co-driver one day, Tom.
A lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, well, she could be a co-pilot. That's right. She could be your co-driver.
That's it. Who knows?
That's
You
it.
never know. You never know.
Well done.
Mate, thank you once again for coming on. As I said, I can't thank you enough. You're the gentleman of V8 Supercar racing. I just can't say that enough. We just wish you all the best, mate, this weekend or next weekend. Sorry,
all the best.
Everyone's been on questioning, asking, who are you going for? And I know you're not a huge football fan because you're just so concentrating on your racing, but they all want to know who you're going for in the AFL and the NRL final.
He's an Adelaide
you got anything?
boy. You'll have to
I'm
go
probably
for
going to
Brisbane,
upset a
wouldn't
few
you?
people, but as always. But I'm going to have to go Brisbane because I grew up in Adelaide and everyone hates Collingwood. So.
Yes, okay, mate.
Got that right?
And
yes.
the good thing is,
Good
Todd, I
answers.
can see through the camera there, mate. You've still got all your teeth, so you wouldn't be going for
Oh,
Collingwood.
stop
Sorry about that, mate.
And the NRL, Panthers and
It's true.
Panthers and the Broncos.
Have to be Broncos. Yeah.
Double
Yeah,
Brisbane
go the
act. Hey, well done,
Yeah,
mate. Well,
yeah.
let's hope that you get 2 winners there, and that you come home a winner, mate, at Bathurst, because I'll be looking for the car, and I can't wait.
Yeah, mate.
You're a champion, man, and we just wish all the best for you.
Yep.
And your family.
Thank you very much, guys. No, I appreciate that. Look, if I could come away with a win next weekend, I'd shout your beer for the rest of the year. How about
Oh, Jesus Christ, I tell you what, mate, you win.
We've
for
got that
God's
on
sake.
video.
I don't know. Look,
Yeah.
That's a bad thing, mate.
you can't get out of that one, Todd, because you're going to win the bloody thing
Well,
now.
I hope
That's
so.
it.
Happy with a peak. Just even a podium, mate, would be absolutely
No,
fantastic.
we're happy whatever you do, mate. You do your best, and as
Well,
I've
we can
always
find
said in all sports, mate, your best is good enough.
Exactly right.
Oh,
Mate.
well
And as you said, you're in the top
Thank you very
25
much,
drivers
guys.
in
Appreciate it.
Australia. So.
You're a star.
Mate, thank you so much, and we'll talk again soon.
Always a pleasure, gents, and thanks for spending the time with me. And hopefully after next weekend we'll have something even better to talk about.
Well, that'd be fantastic. I'd love it. We'd love it. Thanks again, mate. All the best to you and your family.
Yeah, good luck and stay safe, buddy.
No,
Thank
my
you.
pleasure.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks,
good on you,
Cheers.
Toddy.
Thanks,
See you,
Todd. See you, mate.
Bye.
There you go. Thanks, buddy. See you, mate.
Wow.
What a champion.
Absolutely brilliant, mate. Look, he never seeks to amaze me. Just how good he's good on camera, and he's good for his team, and I'll just hope he keeps his
I'm sure he will.
Come on, Toddy!
I'm sure he will. Well, come on, Toddy. Come on. Woo.
I
Well
couldn't do that
done.
with his interview. Now I can say something. I've been sitting here for an hour waiting to say something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Go, Todd!
Go to it.
Yeah, Todd.
Yeah, guys. And once again, look, so I do. There's 3 levels of sponsorship for Todd. It starts off at silver, bronze at $100, silver at $300, and gold at $500. And as I said, you get all these different benefits and stuff as well. But you just feel, and you get, your name's on the. I don't know if it's on the inside of the door or on the transporter, but you're part of the team.
Matter.
Yeah, I'll be a member. I didn't realise.
I do it every year.
Yeah,
and
no,
it's just,
I will now.
Well, it's actually the Friday Frothy.
But the thing is, he's come on, hasn't he? Yeah, but I donate to it because we're not interested in other drivers, really.
Looking handsome, Jeff. Thank you very much, Carl. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And I'm sorry there was a lot of questions there and stuff that I couldn't
we
get
got to
to, but
everybody.
we got to a few.
Oh, I thought we did well.
Hey, but we do have a prize pack, and we do need to send this out. So what we'll do is we'll review whether the questions were asked or not. We'll pick out the best one.
Roger.
And tomorrow, pre-grand final, we will announce who won the Todd Hazy.
There you go,
prize
the
pack.
prize
There you
pack.
go.
And
it's just
prize
so
bag.
good.
See you, champs. Razor Ray, great to see you. See you guys soon. And good night, everyone. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the footies.
See you tomorrow.
Guys, I'm Reviews. You're listening to the Friday Frothy. What a fantastic show.